Hi, welcome to Texas Lone Wolf, your source for Red Pill Truth. Today we are going to do a topic called, it's going to be called Reddit Stories of People Caught Cheating in the Act. So we got several users reporting what they have seen up front and the aftermath, the questioning, interrogation, being gobsmacked, everything. Remember, cheating is not only morally wrong, but if you're going to do it, please, for the love of God, break up with that person and tell them it's over and let them go. All right? Just let them go. Let them go in peace. All right? Just because the longer you, the longer you just sit here and leave them hanging in limbo, think about this. The longer you leave them hanging in limbo, okay? You not only make yourself look like a fool, you make the other person look like a fool. You make them look like they haven't fulfilled their duties to remain truthful to you. So yes, cheating happens in relationships, marriages, dating, even going out. It happens. So grab yourself some popcorn. We're going to go ahead and do some Reddit stories. And furthermore, let's get into this, shall we? This is going to be very, very, very interesting. All right? It's going to be interesting. This is serious, all right? You ready? Grab you some popcorn, grab you a drink. Let's get into it, shall we? Serious. Right here. Serious. People who have caught their significant other in the act of cheating, which is complete betrayal. It could be emotional, could be physical, could be a variety of other things, not involving your other things that goes along with cheating that can be considered cheating. Let's dig into it, shall we? And serious replies only. So some girl you don't know caught her boyfriend in the act. I didn't exactly catch him in the act, but he was in a deep sleep with his phone in his hand, and he had a loud, obnoxious ringtone for text that kept going off, and he didn't wake it up to it. It was starting to wake up our baby like 12 a.m., so I looked at the thing and see who'd be texting at this time. Maybe it's an emergency or something. And it was a female blowing up his phone complaining for him to bring her things and talk about how she thinks she might go into labor soon with their baby. He helped make a baby with this one girl and made a baby with another side chick. Doing this, you know who pays the price for this? Well, the father? Well, somewhat. If he's the cause of it, no, you don't pay the price. The girlfriend, somewhat. What about the child? See, the child is the one that pays the price. The child pays the price. So, Unicorn Lover 84s that found him sleeping in the bed poured a quart of what I thought would water turned out to be OJ and vodka on him to wake him up. Called him every name under the sun and walked out. Some people will walk out on this. So somebody deleted their anyways. Alien girl chick was in the house, but we're not actually going at it. You know what I'm talking about. I froze when I went to set up my purse on the couch and another person was already there. My husband at the time yanked me by the arm out to the deck so we could talk. He tried to give me some BS story while I just cried. Not sure how long I stayed on the deck, but when I went back, they were both gone. I started planning my divorce that day. That was the wife. Remember, both parties will break up a marriage or a relationship over petty things. This can well happen. I'm not saying it can't happen to you, but it can happen to other people. And okay, Meet Jenkins 8 years ago posted. A girl that I was going out with was kissing a guy at a party. Perhaps that guy that was dating that female was too young to be in a relationship. This was all puppy love, factuation. They're going to try stuff like that. Teenagers going to try stuff like that. It starts at home, all right? I saw them, but they didn't see me. So I left her there, went somewhere else, hooked up with someone else, and started dating that girl. See, that's more likely a teenager. The girl one called the next day, asked what happened. I said I was bored and left, then broke up with her without a word about the previous night. Poor thing cried a river. Cheating has consequences, don't it? This is now like a little child throwing a tantrum. And okay, here we go. Big blue Smurf, 8 years ago. That looked like an adult. Taking care of her 5-year-old. She's a single mom of a 5-year-old. The day she took him to an air show. When we got back to our house, she wasn't around, so went down to the local park where she sometimes hung out with and occasionally sunbathed nude. Caught her sunbathing nude with her lover post-coital. I took her 5-year-old back to our house and waited for her to return. I don't think it turned out pretty good. Somebody who made his profile deleted. So, that's adult theme. You know, that's look like a teenager trying stuff out. They're going to try stuff out because they're curious. Humans go through stages. First, you're born, you're a toddler, you're adolescent, preteen, then you hit the teenage years. That's when your hormone starts rushing. So then you get to the young adult where people play childish games as a grown up. That happens a lot. Ended up seriously hurting the guy, so I got arrested, put on probation, got custody of my daughter because her and the guy was banging and were doing meth. Whew, took a year apart. She was in and out of jail, finally got clean, took her back a month ago. Happier we have been. Just decided to leave the past in the past. So, wow. This is a young adult that did, hurt the guy or mess with the mother of the child. That hurts. So, let's go DBO. This is a very, very, very long. This is very long. So while renting out a place for my grandmother, I had two friends who would pay me each month to use one of the guest rooms. As a sole base leaseholder, I pretty much had to say when someone was over, staying or welcome. One day I came home, work early, I saw that SO's car parked out in there and no one home. I walked in, it was quite obvious what was going on. All the lights were off, sound was loud dubstep coming from the guest room stairs. Rather than doing intellectual kicking the door, and I nicely, calmly called up S.O. dad and said she accidentally locked her keys in the phone in the car, that he needed to come and drop off spares. From then on, I went to the living room and grabbed the roommate's Mac Air, brought it outside, ever so gently wedged it into the wheel of her Honda Civic. Ooh, that's a karma. Then waited 5 minutes for her dad to be on his way to walk down to the basement and through the breakers for the entire house. This was around 8:30 at night. I wasn't expected home for another hour and a half. Get semi-passive aggressive text from a roommate. What? I said, what dude, did you not pay the electric bill this month? The power just got shut off, which I replied. How loud is the music? Did you blow a fuse? Before I could get a response, saw headlights of her dad's truck pulling the driveway. Sent him a text saying, we blew a fuse. Do you have a flashlight? We need help navigating in the dark through the breaker box. We went upstairs, front doors unlocked. He didn't respond, but from the back porch, I could hear him entering into the front door. About 4 minutes, I heard a tussle and got a message from her, who shall not be named, shouting, seriously, what the blank? How could you do this to me? I think I forgot to mention her father was a Baptist who volunteers at church every week. Had lectured us about premarital sex countless times. So, nonetheless, I replied, oh, sorry, from downstairs. You sounded like you were in distress. But for real, all of you, get out of my house. After some shouting I could hear from the inside, I pulled out my phone, had 911 dialed just in case something bad happened. I waited by the 3 door at 3 of them walking out, hearing semi-calm father voice. I don't want to talk about it right now. So this father was a Baptist. So I walked her walk of shame to her car. Obviously, her braless under her dress. I watched my friend slink out his car with an Xbox double bag in hand, needless. Say, I never heard from them again, especially she tried to be a bad girl to attempt to peel out of the curb, making her laptop crash to the ground, which she drove over with both passenger tires. Later that night, she tried threatening me to sue me over a now broken laptop, which failed. I told her I did not possess any of her property. She failed to search the public outside the home for missed a piece of property. And and then sent her a photo message of the rest of the MacBook bits to the curb with a text. Maybe keep track of your valuables more important than giving out the jewels. Woo! That right there is good karma. That's good karma right there. So let's see. So this is what somebody that looks like when they catch somebody in the act. Try comprehending what I just saw. Then found myself alternating between being confused and trying to tell myself the exchange of kisses was a product of jealous, overreact, imagination, rage, and a betrayal, wanting to curl up in a ball and sob. Most likely female. All in all, I was the first stage of what later became a 6-week-long emotional breakdown. So she's going to go into further detail right here. So I'm pretty sure she probably got therapy for this. Well, kind of. All right. A little over 2.5 years ago, watching a person I was planning on proposing to run off with a guy, pretty literally the universe imploded like a neutron star unraveled. I unraveled fast. Within a month of that incident, I slept a sum of 24 hours, lost 15 pounds, could eat solid food for 2 weeks. She really loved the guy, and that betrayal right there made her sick. Okay? Stopped working out, lost job, lost apartment, vast majority of property, tried deleting myself. Obviously, that didn't work out. Somebody might have called 911 on her to report self-harm. Remember, if you got cheated on, don't do anything stupid. Deleting yourself over what somebody else did is not going to solve anything. All that's going to do is pass the pain to your relatives, siblings, or whoever else is related to you. Because they're going to be the one that planning the funeral and planting your body in the ground, putting a headstone and all that. Do you want to put your family through that? I don't think you would. But just learn from this as a warning ticket. So, okay. And the year after that, it was totally right off. Ended up moving back with my dad. I don't know, blank. Got a job paid less than half what I was making net. Generally contemplated deleting myself again 1 week because there wasn't a light at the end of the tunnel. She was gone. Sounds like a dude right here. Canada was a rearview mirror. I was broke, reminded of my failures every single day. That's a Delta employee. That's not a Delta employee, but a Delta male. Look at this. Reminded of my failures every day. Delta male is that right there. So he got a date and whatever, Anyways, it affects people. So all right. So this wife married her first husband, term she had a difficult time assigning to him. When she was young, a few years into the marriage, I found proof cheating, confronted him. He admitted it. And we divorced. I divorced him. That's how I chose to handle it. You cheat, we're done. It seems pretty black and white to me. Oops, I went back and reread the question. I didn't catch him in the act. But I called him. Sorry, I opted. Okay, well. He got caught. The husband got caught. Hotel receipt. That right there. Men, if you're going to cheat in the marriage, like a real gentleman, okay? If you're dating, break up. and to scoop me out of, most like a Hispanic, probably. Presented the evidence, hotel receipt more. I'm not going into detail. He sat silent there. He sat on the couch. I told him my aunt worked at the hotel, saw him there. He admitted no remorse, just, yes, I did it. Ended up being more than a single act of adultery. That's why he's my ex. Thank the good Lord I went to marry a wonderful man 8+ years. She got a divorce, remarried a new man. They're going on 8+ years. So, anyways, what do y'all think about that stories that I just read? And yeah, I kind of had to hide some of them bad words to try to make it suitable for YouTube, okay? So we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and get this here logged in. And get ready. We're going to do some more stories. So let's go ahead and let's get into it again. All right? I'm going to go ahead and read this. My ex-husband and his family smoked a lot of grass. Still do. His sister, kids, nanny were visiting out of state for a few weeks. It was time to fly home. They left their stash at my ex Mill's house, mother-in-law's house, because they didn't want to take it on a plane. My ex asked if I would pick it up because I was nearby. Stupidly agreed. I don't smoke. I was willing to carry it in my car for him. To my surprise, I found a note from Nanny to my ex saying she was in love with him and she was happy the time they had together. So she was obviously thought he would get the weed instead of me. It was incredibly painful at the time, and I definitely lived my best life 15 years later. Let me tell you what. So, let me tell you something. You know, this is. Anyways. So, they stayed together for 3 years. The worst part is she was mommy to my kids during an ex-visitation. She even filled out my youngest welcome to kindergarten packet with her and ex information, leaving mine off. So I cleared that up with the school quickly. She finally left when he started cheating on her. Good riddance. Wow. So, to be honest with you, that right there is actually a deal breaker right there, my friend. Worst one was an acquaintance of mine came home from work one day, found his missus having a bedroom fun with his daddy. That blew up all over social media, became a real drama fest where people tried to organize a shunning of dad and missus. I remember it well because, you know, people cheat with your partner. Father, come on. Ooh. The person deletes their profile. My. So, CDFM also commented here 3 years ago. That's hard to beat. I know the guy I know was cheating on his wife. She unexpectedly came home for lunch They live on a busy street in a small town. The wife grabbed girlfriend by her long hair and threw her out in the street naked. That's how the whole town found out. A little small town. Why would you want to cheat with a man in a small town that's already married, already taken? That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all. There's a lack of character right there. So, my stepmom did this to her friend that she caught sleeping with my dad. She wrapped her long hand around her fist a couple of times, dragged her down the stairs, out of house naked. Teen me stayed out of stepmom's way after that. She found out babysitter was sleeping with dad too. Babysitter didn't know stepmom knew, and they went shopping one day. My stepmom pushed her in front of a slow car and broke her leg. Dad got a little angry about that cause the babysitter stripped and lived with us, so her income went down. Both babysitter and stepmom were strippers. Being a teen in that house was crazy. You don't mess with somebody else's lover unless you want to get your butt handed to you. So I'm going to go ahead and go down here a little bit more. So there's some judgment being passed around, but I'm going to put this link here to let you see it yourself. So cheating has consequences, real bad consequences. So Eagle Wolf 9 right here, Mad matches it wrong. Culpability of the SO and the home wrecker are not the same. They aren't equally wrong. Sure, the home wrecker is sleeping with someone taken, but he or she single isn't doing the cheating. People tend to think with their emotions instead of with their brain. Like the previous Redditor stated, people being cheated on tend to initially take their anger or lash out on the home wrecker because they feel someone else is taking away something that is theirs. Okay? Wow, Simon takes to be in love with their significant other, but nobody forces cheaters to cheat. It's a choice. Homewrecker can make movies on an SO, but SO's choice to accept or reject the advances. Yes. As a result, the cheating is SO is more wrong than the single homewrecker who owes you nothing. All right? If anything, you ought to hold one significant other to a higher moral standard compared to strangers, which homewrecker is. They're meant to be one's great choice. Choose to commit the relationship with one, acknowledge one's partner. Best choice to oneself. I would never decide to procreate with a riffraff. Amen to that. Therefore, the SO is an extension of oneself. Do you get that? As a result, the SO is being held to a higher moral standard than the home record. And the SO is more than wrong than the whole. And I'm getting metaphysical, would go over many people's head. Here did go over mine. That went over mine. So, if they're messing around in the married couple's house, though pretty sure she knew he was married. Okay? I'm pretty sure the pictures and pillows and blankets, etc. the guy living by himself would have. If the dude is lying to both of them, I'm not mad at the chick. Wow. So, anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this. There's a story in Puerto Rico that goes like this. Cop goes home, goes to work while on duty. He feels sick. He goes home early, finds his wife in bed with another man. He pulls a gun on these two and tells him that they're not to get dressed. He walks them through the streets to the police station as proof of infidelity and ensure a divorce. Personally, I would prefer getting shot if I were them. But then again, I don't cheat or like being around such people. Did you know that? I'm gonna have to go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and find that story if I can. So, all right. So we're gonna go ahead to that. Do that from Earth. That's a female right there. Ready? They could be a victim of betrayal. A lot of married men that cheat pretend to be singles. Did you know that? Unlikely they were doing it at his place. But still, wife and I, it doesn't work anymore. We arrive separately, blah, 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 blah. Being in emotional pain yourself doesn't mean you have the right to take it out on everyone, even considering the truth or nor this person's feelings. So, No Special Orders shares a very, very, very impressive story right here. I got to share this story about 10 or 12 years ago. So this was posted 3 years ago, okay? I was in my early 20s. I met this guy who lived about 4 hours away from me in a smallish town. It was a real common for guys who lived in that town to stay in a busier town, hotels, paid shared houses during the week to do construction kind of work, then go home on the weekends. The dude I was talking to did mason work. He made great money, went home on the weekends. He told me he was divorced. We dated for 8-9 months. I met his kid pretty messed up, looking back on it. Got pretty serious, not pointing to staying in the house all week. He crashed at my house. He had a drawer and everything. One night, he crashed early. His phone won't stop ringing. I tried to wake him up. He's sleeping deep. Finally, I answered, it's got to be important. Hey, who is this? He said, who is this? See, two women talking to each other. So, all right, let me go ahead and, so, finally, she answered, think it's got to be important. Hey, who is this? She said, who is this? I'm like, this is No Special Orders. I'm Tim's girlfriend. Who the blank is this? She said, well, I'm Tim's wife. Boom, boom, boom. Stuff hits the fan. Obviously, I wake him up, kick him out. I never spoke to him again. I just tried to because I was confused and PO'd. I want to answer, but he was too much of a cat to answer. She came by my work a week later with the kid, I guess so. He could identify me, but I work in restaurants, so all she had to do was ask for my section. And I was terrified once she told me who she was. She was a big chick. I thought she was there to, open a can of butt whooping. She was really nice. She said she wanted to see what I looked like. She was hurting and I was hurting. We sat, talked for a minute, exchanged phone numbers, never spoke again. But she was a class act. Sorry, this turned into the longest post. I had to tell my story about cheating. A big woman looking at a small woman. Wow. See, manipulation actually happens. You know what I'm saying? Manipulation happens in real life. Okay, manipulation happens when somebody has to influence you. They can manipulate the other woman. Guy, it's the same sex relationship, claiming that they're going through the abusive, whatever, cheating on them, going about how they're different and nice and blah. And it was chaotic. So she was this is gaslighting and all that. So you got to watch out for that. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude this. And I'm fixing to do some more videos. So I did a short video on Redditor stories on cheating or catching a person in the act. Now, don't forget to, I gotta let you know this. You need to keep your guards up. Okay? You gotta keep your guards up. All right? Because if you don't, you're going to be manipulated. You're going to be taken advantage of. You're going to be depressed, down, worthless. It is what it is. So take care of your mental health. Your mental health is more important. All right? So, that's a wrong image there. My bad. Sorry, that's my bad. I didn't mean to do that. Okay? I don't know what's going on here, but I'm gonna have to browse for this. Okay, I got it. It's not working out for me. I don't know what's going on. Hang on. Let me redo this again. Let me redo this. So there we are. We got it right here. I think this is it. So I'm going to stretch this out. There are two couples fighting. This is not going to really bode well at all. So, now we're going to talk about a Canadian that shares a story. So let's dive in, shall we? So, anyways, now I'm going to go ahead and read on this Canadian. So, actually, it does destroy the person's outlook. It destroys their self-esteem. It's a real deal breaker. It's not going to, here, let me read this more. For me, it was an act of her texting the dude. So I guess they use that same word in the United States we use. So, they already done one thing, frankly, I shut down the more she explained to me. According to this post. It was the longest relationship that the person had fully brought me into it, he said. I don't think people quite realize how emotionally destructive to the other person is when you cheat on them. He's right. I was a mess for 6 months. And fine to realize that relationship had run its course, but in your mind, your love for whatever rules the universe, please end it then. It would be much better than cheating on someone behind their back. Cheating excludes the biggest of the worthless, feeling of worthless. As I said, it makes you feel worthless. It's a kick in the gut, actually. It's hard to come back from after going through it, and I still have problems opening up to people. Of course. And sometimes it's just... So... Anyways... So this here talk about she tried to delete herself. I'm not going to read that. That's too depressing. So some people, they go into a bargaining phase and what have you. So remember, cheating is a deal breaker in most relationships. So before you go and cheat, please break up or get a divorce. Remember, don't forget to smash, like, and subscribe to the channel for more content coming up. All right? Now, take care of yourself, take care of others, and furthermore, do not go cheating. It will not solve anything. Peace.